Beneath the golden sun of West Africa, there lies a land often spoken of only in whispers, a nation whose story is rarely told, but whose spirit cannot be ignored. This land is Burkina Faso. At first glance, it may appear as just another small, landlocked country on the map of Africa, overshadowed by its larger neighbors like Mali, Ghana, and Niger. Yet if you look deeper, you will find a nation carved from struggle, courage, and dignity, a country that stands as a symbol of resilience against all odds. To understand Burkina Faso, one must journey back to a time before the borders, before the world even knew its name. The land was home to proud kingdoms, each with their traditions, rulers, and stories. The Mossi kingdoms, among the most powerful in West Africa, thrived here for centuries. Their warriors rode on horseback across the savannas. Their kings ruled with both iron and wisdom, and their culture blended with the rhythms of the land. These kingdoms stood strong even as waves of colonizers came, holding on to their heritage while the world around them changed. But as the age of colonization swept through Africa, so too did it fall upon this land. In the late 19th century, the French arrived, imposing new borders, new laws, and a new name. What was once the proud home of kingdoms became known as Upper Volta, a colonial possession stripped of its identity. The people were forced into labor, their resources taken, their traditions suppressed. For decades they lived under the weight of foreign rule, but inside their hearts the fire of freedom still burned. That fire would ignite in 1960, when Upper Volta gained independence. Yet independence was not the end of the struggle. It was only the beginning. The young nation found itself caught in political chaos, with leaders rising and falling in quick succession, each unable to guide the country out of poverty and dependence. Hope flickered dimly, until in 1983, a man stepped onto the stage who would forever change the destiny of this land. His name was Thomas Sankara. A fiery young captain in the military, Sankara was not like other leaders. He spoke with conviction, with passion, with an unshakable belief that Africa deserved dignity. When he took power, one of his first acts was to change the nation's name. No longer would it be called Upper Volta, a label given by colonizers. He renamed it Burkina Faso, the land of upright people. This was not just a name. It was a declaration of identity, a vow that his people would stand tall in a world that wanted them to bow. Sankara was a visionary. In just 4 years, he transformed Burkina Faso in ways no one thought possible. He launched nationwide vaccination campaigns, protecting millions of children from diseases that had plagued the continent for generations. He made education a priority, building schools, training teachers, and lifting literacy rates. He encouraged women to break free from the chains of inequality, outlawing forced marriages and championing their rights. He planted millions of trees to fight desertification, declaring war on hunger and poverty. But Sankara's most radical idea was self-reliance. He urged Burkinabé people to believe in themselves, to wear clothes made in their own land rather than imported suits, to eat food grown in their own soil, rather than depend on foreign aid. In his words, "He who feeds you controls you." This vision made him a hero not only in Burkina Faso but across Africa. For once, here was a leader who refused to bow to the West, who stood proudly and declared that his people would carve their own path. Yet such boldness came at a cost. His refusal to play by the rules of powerful nations made him enemies both at home and abroad. On October 15, 1987, tragedy struck. Sankara was assassinated in a coup orchestrated by his former ally, Blaise Compaoré. In an instant, the dream of a self-reliant Burkina Faso was shattered, and the man who gave hope to millions was silenced. The land of upright people was thrown back into uncertainty. But Sankara's spirit did not die. To this day, his face is painted on walls. His speeches are quoted in classrooms, and his vision continues to inspire not just Burkinabé people, but Africans everywhere. Even as Burkina Faso struggles with poverty, political unrest, and the shadow of extremist violence, his dream burns bright in the hearts of the people. They remember the days when their country stood tall, when the world looked upon them with respect, when the name Burkina Faso truly meant what it was intended to mean. In the bustling streets of Ouagadougou, you can still hear his echo. Street vendors sell handmade crafts and food prepared with care. Farmers till the red earth with determination, and children laugh and play with a spirit that no hardship can crush. In the music of the balafon and the djembe drums, you hear not just entertainment but resilience, pride, and the beating heart of a people who refuse to be broken. Burkina Faso may not have wealth in gold or oil, but it has wealth in dignity and courage, and in the unshakable belief that no matter how many times it is pushed down, it will rise again. This is not just the story of a country. It is the story of a people, of their struggles, their dreams, and their unyielding spirit, and it is only the beginning. The years that followed Thomas Sankara's assassination were filled with silence. A silence heavy with grief, betrayal, and disillusion. Blaise Compaoré, the man once trusted as Sankara's comrade, took control of the nation and steered it down a different path. For 27 long years, Compaoré ruled Burkina Faso. He promised stability, but it came at the cost of freedom. The ideals of self-reliance and integrity were slowly dismantled, replaced with deals that favored foreign powers, while ordinary Burkinabé struggled for survival. Corruption seeped into the government. The gap between rich and poor widened, and the youth of Burkina Faso grew restless. Yet through the shadows of those decades, the memory of Sankara refused to fade. He became a legend, a martyr whose dream continued to live in the whispers of the people, in the murals on cracked walls, and in the stories told from parent to child. Every generation grew up knowing that once, there was a man who taught them to stand upright. The turning point came in 2014. After nearly 3 decades in power, Compaoré tried to change the constitution to extend his rule even further. That was the final straw. The people of Burkina Faso, tired of broken promises, filled the streets of Ouagadougou in defiance. Students, workers, elders, and women all came together in a wave of protest that could not be stopped. Flames of revolution once again burned, and Compaoré was forced to flee the country. The people had reclaimed their power. But freedom is never easy, and the years since have been a struggle. New leaders came, each promising change. Yet Burkina Faso still found itself trapped between hope and hardship. In recent years, the nation has faced one of its greatest challenges, the rise of extremist violence, spreading across the Sahel region. Attacks on villages, kidnappings, and terror forced thousands to flee their homes. The red earth of Burkina Faso became stained with pain once again, and survival became a daily fight. Yet even in the face of such darkness, the spirit of the Burkinabé people shines. Farmers return to their fields even after attacks. Teachers continue to hold classes for children in refugee camps. Musicians sing songs of hope to remind their people that they are not forgotten. The courage of ordinary citizens is what holds the country together, thread by thread, when the weight of the world threatens to tear it apart. But Burkina Faso is not only defined by its struggles, it is also defined by its beauty, its traditions, and its culture that refuses to be erased. The Mossi, the Bobo, the Fulani, and many other ethnic groups together weave the cultural fabric of the nation. Each has their dances, their music, their festivals. In the djembe drum beats, in the masked dances of the Bois people, in the haunting melodies of the balafon, you feel the soul of Burkina Faso. The FESPACO Film Festival, held in Ouagadougou, stands as the largest celebration of African cinema, drawing filmmakers and artists from across the continent. Here, stories are told not through textbooks or speeches, but through images, emotions, and art. It is a reminder that despite the hardships, Burkina Faso has given Africa and the world a platform for creativity, resistance, and pride. Even the land itself carries its own poetry. The Sahel stretches wide with dusty winds, while green fields blossom in the rainy season. Villages built of clay blend into the earth, their walls painted with symbols passed down for generations. In the countryside, children chase each other under the burning sun, their laughter echoing across the plains. The land is harsh, but the people are harder still, molded by its challenges into some of the most resilient souls on earth. And what of the future? For Burkina Faso, the path is uncertain. It faces enemies from within and without, challenges of poverty and the test of governance. But its history tells us something important. This is a land that has endured. From the warrior kings of the Mossi, to the vision of Sankara, to the revolutions of its people, Burkina Faso has always risen when it was pushed down. Its strength is not in wealth or armies, but in the unshakable spirit of its people. When you hear the name Burkina Faso, you may think of a small, poor country in West Africa. But to those who know its story, it is far more. It is the land of upright people, a place where dignity matters more than riches, where courage stands taller than fear, and where hope lives even in the darkest times. The story of Burkina Faso is not finished. It is still being written in the sweat of farmers, in the courage of protesters, in the songs of musicians, and in the dreams of children who run barefoot through dusty streets. Each generation will add its chapter. Each struggle will leave its mark. But the essence will remain the same. A nation that refuses to bow, a people who live upright no matter the storms they face. Perhaps when the world finally turns its eyes toward this land, they will not see poverty or struggle. They will see resilience. They will see pride. They will see a people who, despite everything, remain unbroken. Burkina Faso is not just a country. It is a testament to the human spirit. A reminder that no matter how small a nation may seem, when its people choose to stand upright, they can never truly be defeated. And so, the drums continue to beat in Ouagadougou. The markets continue to hum with life. The songs of Sankara are still sung, and the land of upright people continues its story. A story that the world is only just beginning to hear.